Welcome back to Five for Family. So glad that you are joining us this week to spend a little time hearing a story and doing an activity together as a family. So this week our special guest is someone that our middle schoolers know very well. He is the director of youth and young adult ministries at our church. He also sings a whole lot very well and loves investing in our students. Our guest this week is Mr. Ryan Gorey. So Ryan, on to our story.
This is the story of the forgiving prince. Jacob had 12 sons, but all of his sons, Joseph was his favorite. One day, Jacob gave Joseph a splendid new robe. It was beautiful and rich with all the colors of the rainbow. But it made Joseph's brothers jealous. They wanted rich rainbow robes too. Then, to make matters worse, Joseph kept on having these special dreams. I dreamed I was the greatest. I was king, Joseph told his brothers, and you all bowed down to me. Now, I'm sure you know, even if Joseph didn't, that telling your brothers things like that isn't a very good idea. Joseph's brothers hated him even more. They wanted to kill Joseph and his dreams. One day, that's exactly what they tried to do. They tore Joseph's rainbow robe off of him and sold him to slave traders for 20 pieces of silver. The traders took Joseph to Egypt and made him into a slave. The brothers went home and lied to their father, telling him that Joseph was dead. That's the end of that dreamer, they thought, but they were wrong. God had a magnificent dream for Joseph's life, and even when it looked like everything had gone wrong, God would use it all to help make the dream come true. God would use everything that was happening to Joseph to do something good for Joseph. Meanwhile, though things were not looking good for Joseph in Egypt, he was far from home and from his dad. Then he got blamed for something he didn't do, and even though he had done nothing wrong, he was punished and thrown into jail. But God had not left Joseph. One night, Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, had a scary dream. Pharaoh dreamt about thin cows eating up and gobbling up fat cows. What on earth does it mean? What on earth did it mean? He didn't know. But Joseph was a dream expert, so Pharaoh sent for him. It means a famine is coming, Joseph explained. There won't be enough food. Pharaoh was so pleased by Joseph's skill that he immediately took Joseph out of the jail and made him a prince. Now back home, Joseph's brothers had run out of food and everyone was hungry. God's special family was in danger. If they didn't get food soon, they would starve to death. So Joseph's brothers traveled to Egypt to buy food. They came and knelt before the new prince. His brothers didn't know that the prince was Joseph, but Joseph knew who they were. Joseph's dream, the one about his brothers bowing down to him, was coming true. It's me, Joseph cried. When they saw it was Joseph, his brothers were afraid. They had wronged Joseph. They had sinned and they knew it. Now Joseph would certainly punish them. But Joseph looked at his brothers and his eyes filled with tears. Even though his brothers had hurt him and hated him and wanted him dead, in spite of everything, he couldn't stop loving them. His heart, which they had broken, filled up with love, and Joseph forgave them. Joseph threw his arms around them. Don't be afraid, he said. Behind what you were doing, underneath everything that was happening, God was doing something good. God was making everything right again. Joseph didn't punish them. He rescued them. He brought God's special family to live safely with him in Egypt. One day, God would send another prince, a young prince whose heart would break. Like Joseph, he would leave his home and his father. His brothers would hate him and want him dead. He would be sold for pieces of silver, just like Joseph. He would be punished even though he had done nothing wrong. But God would use everything that happened to this young prince, even the bad things, to do something good, to forgive the sins of the entire world.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Now we have our question and answer portion. Don't forget to press pause. Did anything that happened in this story surprise God? Press pause. Is anything that's going on in our world right now a surprise to God? Press pause. Was everything that went on in Joseph's life good? Press pause. Is everything that goes on in your life good? Press pause. Is God capable of taking bad things and making them work for good? Press pause. How does knowing that God can take even the hard and scary things in your life and use them for good help you trust Him? Press pause. Today's activity has several options. As usual, you can build it with Legos. This is a great story. If you've got the little Lego people, you can build it and have your kids act it out again to retell the story. You can also color pictures. We're actually attaching some files on the church's website or on the app. You can click on it and download them, print them off. We have a worksheet that has little cards that tell the story, and you can have your kids use the pictures to tell you the story that they just heard. As always, you can dress up and have them play it out again, and there's also other pages, coloring pages, word searches, that kind of stuff that help us to remember the story that we just learned. So pray that these tools help you as we learn about Joseph together as a family. Love you guys. So look forward to seeing you in person again, and just pray that God blesses this special time that you're spending with your family. See you next week.